He always saw his destiny shifting the moment his father went behind bars. In 1967, when his father, a high-ranking capo in the Colombo crime family, was imprisoned for bank robbery, Michael knew college, the path he was on, was similarly slipping away. Drawn to the underworld he'd grown up around, he dropped out of college in 1971 to help his struggling family. Soon, the familiar faces of his childhood, his father's friends, became his mentors, drawing him into the life he'd come to see as inevitable. He didn't just enter the mob, he was inducted. On Halloween night of 1975, under the watch of acting boss Tommy DeBella, Michael Franzese took the centuries-old blood oath, swearing omerta in a ceremony that symbolized his binding to the family's code. That moment was transformative. He was no longer Michael, he was a made man, entrusted with the family's secrets and responsibilities. What followed was a meteoric rise. Franzense's mentor, the soldier Joseph, Joe Vataco, guided him through the complexities of enforcing, collecting, and serving the family's interests. In the late 1970s, he crossed paths with John Gotti, still a soldier at the time, announcing the interconnected world of the five families. His early operations were small-scale, but ambitious. One story recounts that a flea market vendor turned to Michael because his partner had started trafficking drugs. Franzese dispatched emissaries, took control, and gained influence, but this was merely a taste of what lay ahead. What truly defined Franzese was his gas bootlegging empire. Collaborating with partners including the Russian mob, he set up shell companies and maneuvered through tax loopholes, funneling untaxed gasoline to station owners. In some accounts, this scam moved an astounding 2 billion liters a month, and he claimed earnings of $8 to $10 million per week at the peak of his power. Fortune magazine even listed him among the 50 biggest mafia bosses by the mid-80s. But with great wealth came great danger. In December 1985, at the height of his schemes, Michael was indicted under the RICO Act for selling gasoline without paying taxes, and just a few years later, he pled guilty to racketeering and tax conspiracy charges in 1986. His sentence, 10 years in federal prison and nearly $15 million in fines and restitution. Yet prison didn't break him, it taught him survival. On the Diary of a CEO podcast in August 2024, he shared the advice his father gave him. 3 simple words, please, thank you, excuse me, were his lifeline behind bars. Politeness, he explained, commanded respect. But more than that, it humanized him among hardened criminals. After serving part of his sentence, Franzese was released on parole in 1989. A probation violation 3 years later landed him back, to serve until his final release in 1994. By 1995, he'd made a decision few ever do. He walked away from the mob life. For him, it was never about snitching, it was about survival. He refused to enter witness protection, refused to betray his colleagues, and instead, he chose a path that jolted his past life. His father disowned him, but Michael had chosen a different kind of legacy. Stepping into the light, he reinvented himself. He became a motivational speaker at schools, prisons, churches, and forums, openly renouncing myths of glamour and money. I never glamorize my mob life. It's an evil life, he's since stated. He traveled the world speaking, launching ventures like Franzese Wines, ironically branded, Most Wanted Wine from Most Wanted Man, and even a pizza franchise. His YouTube channel, started in 2020, has garnered over 1 million subscribers, offering an unfiltered view of mob life and its consequences. Today, Michael Franzese's story is one of complexity, ambition, crime, consequence, and redemption. He's no longer a made man. Instead, he's a messenger. A living testament that even the most powerful figures in the underworld can step away, and if they do, their stories can serve as warnings, not legends.